The vast conference hall buzzed with alien chatter, its curved walls reflecting the soft blue light of holographic displays. Captain J. Park stood near the back, his dark eyes scanning the room with a calm intensity that betrayed nothing of his inner thoughts. Around him, representatives from dozens of alien civilizations gathered for the quarterly Galactic Diplomatic Assembly. Massive beings with crystalline skin sat next to cloud-like entities that shifted and pulsed with strange energy. Humans were always the smallest delegation, tucked into a corner like an afterthought. Another report from the human territories, sneered Krell Vox, the Vorta ambassador, his tentacle-like appendages waving dismissively. Another failed colonial expansion. They're like children playing at being a spacefaring civilization. Hyun Kim, Earth's lead diplomat, maintained a stoic expression. He had heard these comments 1,000 times before. The other races saw humanity as newcomers, barely worth acknowledging. Their ships were considered slow, their weapons primitive, their technology laughable. What they didn't know was the careful preparation happening behind the scenes. Every insult, every moment of mockery was being recorded, analyzed, studied. The humans were learning, not just about space diplomacy, but about the intricate weaknesses of each alien race. Jay watched as a holographic map displayed recent human colony attempts. To the alien races, these looked like failed missions, scattered outposts, minimal resources, but each location was carefully chosen, each settlement a strategic point of observation and preparation. The Creel ambassador lumbered forward, his massive, rocky body casting a shadow over the human delegation. Your species has been in space. For what? Barely a century? The Creel have explored galaxies for millennia. Your ships are nothing more than metal containers drifting in the void. Laughter rippled through the conference hall. Soft chuckles from silicon-based life forms, sharp clicks from insectoid delegates, melodic trills from energy-based beings, all united in their mockery of humanity. Hyun Kim's fingers, hidden from view, tapped a subtle communication device. A message sent. A network activated. The humans were listening, always listening. Captain J. Park allowed himself the briefest hint of a smile. The aliens saw weakness. They saw a young, inexperienced species struggling to find its place in the universe. What they didn't see was the strategic mind behind every seemingly failed attempt. Each human colony was a chess piece. Each rejected diplomatic mission was a data point. Each mocked spacecraft design was a lesson learned. Humanity was building, something the galaxy couldn't yet comprehend, a silent, patient strategy of survival and eventual dominance. The conference continued. More reports, more dismissals, more laughter. But beneath the surface, something was brewing, a potential that no alien race could yet understand. As the meeting concluded, Jay approached Hyun. No words were exchanged, just a slight nod, a understanding that ran deeper than any diplomatic speech. They knew something was coming, something that would change everything. Outside the conference hall, human communication networks hummed with encrypted messages. Strategic points were being marked, resources were being gathered. A plan was taking shape, slow, methodical, inevitable. The aliens continued to laugh. They continued to mock. They continued to underestimate. And that would be their greatest mistake. Deep within the solar system's outer regions, a different kind of preparation was taking shape. Admiral Sung Lee sat in a command center carved into a massive asteroid, surrounded by holographic displays that showed intricate ship designs and complex strategic networks. The room was silent except for the soft hum of quantum computers and the occasional tap of fingers on advanced interface screens. Yoon Choi, the lead engineer, moved between workstations with a purpose that spoke of years of careful planning. Humanity had learned something crucial. Visibility was weakness. Every previous space conflict had shown that the first side to be detected was often the first side to be destroyed, so they would become masters of invisibility. The project was called Nighthawk, not a military program, not officially. On paper, it was a research initiative into advanced materials and quantum camouflage technologies. In reality, it was humanity's insurance policy against galactic threats. Massive shipyards were being constructed inside hollowed-out asteroids. Each ship was built in sections, designed to be assembled quickly, but remain undetectable until the moment of activation. Quantum adaptive materials allowed these vessels to bend light, absorb radar signals, and essentially disappear from every known scanning technology. Ewan pulled up a holographic model of their latest stealth design. It looked nothing like traditional spacecraft. No sharp edges, no clear outline, more like a living shadow that could drift through space unnoticed. Each ship was a modular system, capable of reconfiguring itself based on mission requirements.
"We're not just building ships," Yoon muttered to herself. "We're building a response, a statement." Nearby, a team of AI specialists worked on advanced targeting systems. They had spent years studying alien combat doctrines, breaking down every
known military strategy from hundreds of different civilizations. Each potential weakness was being mapped, analyzed, prepared for. Admiral Sung watched a simulation of potential conflict scenarios. His team had created thousands of potential galactic conflict models. Some were defensive, some were strategic. All were designed with one core principle: survival. The resources were carefully hidden. Rare earth minerals mined from carefully selected asteroid belts. Advanced technological components manufactured in distributed, untraceable facilities. Nothing was concentrated. Nothing could be easily discovered or destroyed. Communication networks were equally complex. Quantum entanglement communication systems that could transmit information faster than light, using encryption methods so advanced they were essentially unbreakable. Each message was a ghost, existing and then immediately vanishing. Training was happening simultaneously. Not in traditional military bases, but in advanced simulation environments. Pilots trained in scenarios that pushed the boundaries of strategic thinking. They weren't just learning to fly, they were learning to become invisible weapons. "We have one advantage," Admiral Sung would often tell his team. "They underestimate us completely, and that underestimation was their greatest weapon." While alien races laughed and mocked, humanity was building something they couldn't comprehend. A military force that didn't just fight but could appear and disappear at will. The Nighthawk project wasn't just about building ships. It was about building a philosophy of survival, a method of warfare that turned invisibility into the ultimate strategy. Outside the asteroid base, space looked empty, peaceful. Nothing suggested the massive technological revolution happening just beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary space rocks. Yoon looked at the latest ship design and allowed herself a small smile. They were ready, completely and utterly ready. The galaxy had no idea what was coming. The colony on Epsilon 7 was small. Just 5,000 human settlers, mostly scientists and their families, working on a remote research station near the edge of explored space. No, one expected it to become the spark that would change everything. The Creel attack came without warning. Massive battleships dropped out of faster-than-light travel, their weapons charging before most colonists could even realize what was happening. Orbital defense systems were overwhelmed in minutes. The first wave of plasma bombardment turned the colony's outer structures into molten slag. Commander Lisa Kim watched from the underground communication bunker. Her hands remained steady as she recorded every detail of the assault. This wasn't just an attack. This was a calculated demonstration of power. The Creel believed they were sending a message. Humans were weak. Humans could be destroyed easily. Each plasma burst was meant to be a statement of galactic dominance. What the Creel didn't know was that every single moment was being transmitted. Not just to Earth, but through a complex network of quantum communication relays that the aliens couldn't even detect. Each explosion, each moment of destruction, was becoming data. In the first hour, 372 colonists were killed. The Creel moved, with surgical precision, destroying communication arrays, medical facilities, and critical infrastructure. They believed this would be a quick, clean operation that would demonstrate alien superiority. Beneath the surface, something was happening that the Creel couldn't see. The colony wasn't just a research station. It was a carefully prepared observation point. Every system was designed to capture information. Every sensor was recording. Commander Kim's team wasn't trying to fight back. They were collecting data, precise measurements of Creel weapon signatures, exact frequencies of their communication systems, detailed scans of ship movements and attack patterns. Record everything, she told her team. Her voice was calm, almost cold. The attack continued for 6 hours. By the time the Creel withdrew, believing they had completely destroyed the human presence, less than 200 colonists remained. But those 200 had captured more strategic information than entire previous decades of human space exploration. Back on Earth, Admiral Sung Lee watched the complete data package. His eyes moved quickly, analyzing each frame, each measurement. The Creel had just made a critical mistake. They had revealed their entire tactical approach. In military strategy rooms across human-controlled space, teams began working immediately. The attack on Epsilon 7 wasn't just a tragedy, it was an opportunity. Every piece of information would be used. The quantum computers started processing. Weakness analysis began. Technological countermeasures were being designed in real time. The Creel believed they had won a decisive victory. They believed they had demonstrated human weakness. They had no idea they had just provided humanity with the most valuable gift possible. A complete blueprint of their military capabilities. Commander Kim looked at the destruction around her. Colleagues dead. A colony in ruins. But her expression didn't show grief. It showed something else. Calculation, preparation. The beginning of a response that would change everything. The Creel thought they were sending a message. They had no idea what message they were actually creating. Humanity was listening. And humanity was going to respond. The Creel battle fleet moved confidently after their victory at Epsilon 7. 200 massive warships stretched across multiple star systems, believing they had demonstrated ultimate galactic dominance. Their commanders discussed human weakness, over communication channels laughing about the easy conquest. Captain J. Park watched from a quantum-cloaked command vessel. His fingers hovered over strategic interfaces, waiting for the perfect moment. "Targeting systems online," whispered Lieutenant Kim beside him. Her hands moved with surgical precision across holographic displays. Suddenly, the first human ships appeared. Not dozens, not hundreds, but precisely 287 vessels materialized simultaneously across multiple strategic points. Each ship looked different, some sleek, some angular, some almost organic in design. But they shared one critical characteristic: weapons that defied current galactic understanding. The Creel communication networks erupted in confusion. Sensors couldn't lock onto the human vessels. One moment nothing existed, the next moment, entire. Battle groups were being systematically destroyed, quantum resonance cannons fired. These weren't traditional weapons. They didn't just destroy physical matter. They disassembled molecular structures at fundamental levels. Creel battleships didn't explode. They simply dissolved. Adaptive energy shields absorbed incoming alien weapon fire, then immediately reconfigured to turn that energy into offensive capabilities. Each human ship was becoming stronger with every attack directed against it. Admiral Sung Lee's strategic algorithms worked perfectly. Every movement, every attack had been calculated years in advance. The humans weren't just fighting. They were demonstrating a level of technological superiority that would rewrite galactic military doctrine. Within 27 minutes, 183 Creel vessels were completely neutralized. No survivors, no escape pods. Nothing remained except scattered atomic particles. The remaining Creel ships attempted retreat, but human vessels were already waiting at their quantum jump points. Escape was impossible. Lieutenant Kim watched the tactical display. Her hands remained steady. No excitement, no anger. Just pure calculated execution of a plan decades in preparation. "Primary objective completed," she reported calmly. Captain J. Park nodded. One simple movement, years of planning compressed, into a single devastating response. The galactic communication networks would be spinning with this information for decades. Humanity had not just defended itself. It had demonstrated that it could destroy a superior force with minimal losses. 0 human ships were destroyed during the entire engagement. The message was clear: underestimate us at your own risk. As the last Creel vessel disappeared into atomic dust, Captain Park allowed himself the briefest hint of a smile. They had been preparing for this moment for years. Every mockery, every dismissed diplomatic meeting, every condescending comment about human technological capabilities. This was the response. Silent, precise, overwhelming. The universe would never look at humanity the same way again. Lieutenant Kim's voice broke the silence. Cleanup protocols initiated. No trace will remain. Just another day of protecting human interests. The Galactic Council chamber fell silent. Representatives from hundreds of alien civilizations stared in shock at the data displays showing the complete destruction of the Creel battle fleet. Hyun Kim stood at the center of the room. No dramatic speeches, no threats, just a calm presentation of facts. "We are not what you believed us to be," he said simply. The Vorta ambassador's crystalline form trembled. The silicon-based diplomats from the Zarian Collective recalibrated their communication frequencies. Something fundamental had changed in the galactic power structure. Earth wasn't asking for permission anymore. They were stating a new reality. Admiral Sung Lee's strategic proposal was elegantly simple. Humanity wasn't seeking revenge. They were offering a new framework of galactic cooperation. But it was cooperation on human terms. Technology exchange programs were proposed, but not the typical diplomatic nonsense. These were carefully structured agreements that would give humanity strategic advantages while appearing generous. The quantum communication technologies humans had developed became suddenly very interesting. Alien races that once mocked human capabilities now looked at their technologies with a mixture of terror and desperate curiosity. "We have solutions to problems you haven't even discovered yet," Hyun Kim explained. Each word calculated. Each sentence a diplomatic weapon more precise than any battleship. The Galactic Council's traditional power brokers found themselves completely off balance. Humanity had not just entered the galactic stage. They had rewritten the entire performance. No demands for territory, no aggressive posturing, just a calm invitation to become technological partners. Lieutenant Kim, who had been instrumental in the military operation, sat quietly in the observation area. Her eyes tracked every diplomatic movement, every subtle shift in alien body language. Gathering information, as always. The Creel's complete destruction had done more than eliminate a military threat. It had sent a message that would echo through generations. Humanity would defend itself, completely, utterly, without hesitation. Diplomatic negotiations that would have taken decades now, compressed into weeks. Alien races that had ignored humanity now competed to establish cooperative agreements. Earth's representatives moved with a chess master's precision. Each diplomatic meeting wasn't just a conversation. It was a strategic repositioning of galactic influence. The universe had underestimated humans for too long. That time was over. "We are not seeking conflict," Hyun Kim repeated. "We are seeking progress. On our terms." The subtle threat was clear. Cooperation was welcome. Opposition would be eliminated. Quantum communication networks began redistributing new diplomatic protocols. Massive amounts of data showing humanity's technological capabilities spread across hundreds of star systems. The message was clear. Humanity had arrived. Not as a junior partner, not as a developing civilization, but as a force to be respected. Captain J. Park watched the proceedings from a secure communication hub. No celebration, no excitement. Just the quiet satisfaction of a plan perfectly executed. Years of preparation, decades of strategic planning, compressed into a few decisive moments that would reshape galactic civilization. The alien races that once laughed would now study human technology with a mixture of terror and profound respect. Humanity was no longer asking to be included.